Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, where we try to make sense of the money world. Can someone say something about stock options and executive compensation? Is that a way to say they are overpaid or underpaid? Today we're looking at America's Car-Mart's latest proxy statement for their 2025 annual meeting, a document that tells us a lot about what the company is up to and how its leaders are paid. America's Car-Mart is a company that provides affordable vehicles and financing to customers who might have trouble getting loans elsewhere. They've been around for a while and serve a specific market. This filing is an invitation to their shareholders to vote on important company matters. Think of it as their annual report card and a look at who's running the show. First off, they're asking shareholders to vote on a few key things. They want to elect 9 directors to their board, which is like the company's steering committee. They're also asking for a thumbs up on how they pay their top executives. And finally, they want shareholders to approve hiring Grant Thornton LLP as their independent auditor for the upcoming year. Now let's dive into who owns pieces of the company. Large investment funds like Magnolia Capital Fund, BlackRock and FMR LLC hold significant stakes, with Magnolia Capital holding about 14.8% of the company's shares. Among the insiders, Jonathan Z. Buber stands out with 7.7% of the shares. The company talks a lot about its culture, emphasizing values like inclusion and respect. They mention that about 52% of their associates are women and 33% are racially or ethnically diverse. They also highlighted that 4 out of the 9 director nominees, 44% are women, and 7 of the 9 nominees are considered independent. Let's look at the people they want to keep in charge or bring on board as directors. They're nominating 9 people, 8 of whom are currently directors. One new face is Brandy Joplin, a retired financial expertise. We have Angie Bordelon, who has been a director since 2019 and is currently the chair of the Audit and Compliance Committee. Her background includes financial roles at Walmart. Jonathan Z. Buber, a director since 2023, is a partner at Nantahala Capital Management. His expertise is in specialty finance, including subprime lending, which is pretty relevant to Car-Mart's business. Douglas W. Campbell, who is their president and CEO, joined the company in 2022. He has a lot of experience in the automotive industry, which is a big plus. Julia Tay Davis, a director since 2021, works with Gartner and has a strong background in technology and information systems, having been a CIO at companies like R1RCM and Aflac US. Daniel J. Englander has been a director since 2007. He's the founder of Ursula Capital Partners and has experience in investment management. Brandy N. Joplin, the new nominee, recently retired from Walmart after a long career in finance, including being the CFO for Sam's Club. Dawn C. Morris, a director since 2021, is the founder of Growth Partners Group and has experience in digital strategy and marketing. Joshua G. Welch has been a director since 2018 and currently chairs the board. He runs Vicuna Capital ILP and has a strong financial background. And finally, Jeffrey A. Williams, who was the CEO until recently and is now a consultant to the company. He has a deep understanding of the company's operations and industry. Next up is the Say on Pay proposal. This is where shareholders get to voice their opinion on how the company pays its top executives. The company notes that last year, shareholders approved executive compensation with a significant 96.94% yes vote. For the fiscal year 2025, revenues were about $1.4 billion and they managed to turn a net loss of $31.4 million. And they managed to turn a net loss of $31.4 million in. They managed to turn a net loss of $31.4 million. And they managed to turn a net loss of $31.4 million into a profit of $17.9 million. Pretty good improvement there. Williams were about $1.4 billion and they managed to turn a net loss of $31.4 million into a profit of $17.9 million. Pretty good improvement there. Looking at the compensation table, Douglas Campbell, the CEO, had a total compensation of about $1.55 million in 2025. That's a big jump from the previous year when it was over $8.4 million, which included a signing bonus. They also want to ratify Grant Thornton L as their auditor for the fiscal year, ending April 2026. The fees for Grant Thornton were about $1.09 million for 2025, slightly higher than the $727,000 in 2024. This seems like a standard part of the process to ensure the company's financial statements are accurate. The Audit Committee, which is made up of independent directors, has met regularly to oversee the company's financial reporting and internal controls. They seem to be doing their due diligence. It's interesting to note their stock ownership guidelines for executives. The CEO is expected to own stock worth 6 times their base salary, while other top execs need to have 3 times their base salary in stock. This is a good sign that they want their leaders to have skin in the game. Their compensation philosophy is all about aligning executive interests with shareholder interests. They use base salaries, short-term cash bonuses tied to performance goals, and long-term incentives like stock options and restricted stock. It's a pretty standard executive compensation setup. For the CEO, Douglas Campbell, his base salary was $800,000. He also received significant equity awards. The company is trying to tie his pay to performance metrics like return on equity and stock price. Vicky Judy, the former CFO, had a base salary of $442,000 and received some restricted stock awards. She transitioned to Chief Accounting Officer in May 2025. Jamie Fisher, the COO, started in October 2024 with a base salary of $400,000 and received equity awards. Her employment agreement also includes a guaranteed bonus. The pay versus performance table is always a key part of these filings. It tries to show how executive pay lines up with company performance. For 2025, the CEO's total compensation was about $1.55 million, while the company's net income was $17.4 when they had a net loss, and the CEO's compensation was over $8 million, mostly from equity awards. They did have a decrease in revenue of 0 equity awards. They did have a decrease in revenue of 0.2% in fiscal year 2025. When you look at the relationship between pay and total shareholder return, it's a bit mixed. The company's shareholder return was about 71.9% in 2025, which is quite strong, but their peer group's return was even higher at 274.2%. This suggests that while CARMART is doing better, its peers might be outperforming it significantly in terms of stock price growth. The company also tracks its SG&A expense per average customer. In 2025, this was about $1,000 a ton, $23. They seem to be trying to manage these costs while growing their customer base. Overall, America's Car-Mart seems to be making some positive strides in improving its financial performance after a tough period. They're bringing in new talent, focusing on technology, and trying to align executive pay with company success. However, they face strong competition as evidenced by the much higher peer group total shareholder return to future performance targets. The company is clearly betting on its new strategies to drive future value. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Our community is growing fast and it's a great place to share insights and learn more.